So continuing with the subject, like I mentioned, a kid got to learn how to walk and crawl before he can learn how to run. So we got to understand that our systems are very complex since the day we were born, since the day we came to this material world. Again, there's many things. There's a lot of people trying to teach wrong things to people, but it's up to every single individual to understand what you're learning and what's good for you and what's not. With that said, people are bombarded with different beliefs, movies, documentaries, anything. That's if everybody has a phone, every 5-year-old has a phone, and that 5-year-old little kid press play to the wrong video and the wrong content, although and it's not supervised for by an adult. Um, that kid is gonna believe what he's watching at that given moment, and that's gonna naturally get stored in their brain, and it's gonna take a long time and a lot of work to make them realize of the actual real truth. You know, kids are curious, right? But I mentioned there's a lot of things. Back in the day, in Jesus Christ's day when he came to this world, there was no TV, there was no electricity, so there was not much how we call distractions. There were much distraction as today. Today we're full and distracted. Literally, everybody's so distracted. But we gotta keep our faith strong, and we gotta keep focused on what we want and what we need in our life. Remember, what the other guy is doing is not necessarily what you need to do in your specific given moment or what you need in that moment. With that said, referring to what the guru mentioned was there's a lot of environment. If the kid grows up in the wrong environment with the wrong ideas, that kid is going to believe those wrong ideas. And again, we live in a society where, especially in the United States, where they live with the slogan of you can do whatever you want. It's freedom, freedom of speech and freedom of everything supposedly. But the reality is that that's the slogan. You can do whatever you want. But again, if you say something against a government in this government body, you will have consequences. If you say something negative against a business, you will have consequences. If you do something against somebody else, well, you will have consequences. So there are consequences to everything, but they make you believe that you can do or say whatever you want. But once you grow up and you're at that certain age, you turn 18, 21. If you grew, if a young person grew with this toxic type of environment, he'll grow up thinking that's the proper way of doing things. And when he gets to a certain age, 20, 22, like I mentioned it, he'll start acting like he was like what he have learned. But if nobody was there to try to teach that person what reality is, then he will never have an understanding of what real or what heaven and what hell will be. So people don't believe, people don't dare to believe in heaven. I want to make it clear to everybody, heaven is real and hell is real. Everything is just a mental state, whichever way you want to put it. But everything has to do with your brain. Everything is based out of what you're learning. Every one and single of you is like a microchip in a computer that internally was put in there for us to be able to function the way we are. Imagine a phone with legs and ears and face that are able to talk or whatever. Well, guess what? That's what we actually are. We're like literally smartphones. We're smarter than smartphones. So we, that ultimate human being, that ultimate creation God actually did, and that's what we are. And because with that, we got to understand, it's like we got to learn our own manual so we can know how to function. We can know how to do certain things, and so on, so on, so on. So, pause.